Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews. Have you ever wondered what games you should sell or you should use? Find out here at Purge Reviews. Find out on our top 10 list what games you cannot miss. Don't forget to subscribe to Purge Reviews.
Cutthroat Caverns. Now this is a party game with a twist. So it's going to be a party game for gamers because you're going to have the fantasy theme that I don't think is going to reach out to the common core. But what's interesting about it, and one of the first pros about it that I like, is that it's actually a fun party game. A lot of the party games, it's just banal to me, and charades, and we're judging things, and it's just not that much fun. On the other hand, Cutthroat Caverns is actually a fairly fun party game, which is a big pro to me. The second thing is that it's not just killing the monsters together, because it's a cooperative game, semi-cooperative, but you want to be the one to kill it. So I could do 200 damage, but if he's at 300 and I go before you, I'm just going to make it easier for the third or fourth person on the line to kill him. Don't want to do that. So maybe because I'm going first in initiative, which is random, I want to dink him or do no damage at all, because then you okay, so you're calculating on this, and it's phenomenal. Now the game is light. You're gonna have a card, you're gonna play it, you're trying to guess maybe what other people will play, and maybe you're trying to gauge when you can kill this, when the kill strike is going to come. Now some cards will just allow you to doop, you killed him, but now I get credited for it, which is kind of neat. Like, I went back to the cave and I told a story to the town, and I took credit for everything, so I get the glory of it. So that's kind of fun. I like the hit points on the card. So a lot of times you have a 50 hit point on a card and you'll play it, but you might have something else that magnifies it. So you just turn the card and now it's got 100 here on the side. So on each of the four sides may have common usage of hit points. So that's really neat. I like the way the cards are able to do that. This game is very unique to me. I haven't played a whole lot of games like this, especially party games, and I might get some flack. So this is a filler game. To me, this is a party game. It's about as party-ish game that I want to play. But it is unique that you're playing together, but you want to be the one to strike, and that counting up is a lot of fun. There's also a lot of expansions for this game. So if you buy the base game, you're going to be able to add to it without having to buy new games and learn new systems. You're just adding to it, and that's going to be very, very appealing to a lot of people. And there's a lot of expansions. Now, the version I have, it says 2.0 edition with expanded rules and updated cards. That might be the version you want to get. I don't know. I'm not going to comment on different versions because I don't know, but those are the pros. Now, this game does have some cons, okay? The components are just okay. The cards are nice. The beads are all right. They're just okay. I wouldn't say they're phenomenal anyway. The game can be rather random, and what cards I have or what I can play. And if you can come in, I can do the kill and play a perfect game, and you steal it right from me. So there's a lot of luck in the game. You just have to go in saying this is a party game and I might be screwed, but we're going to have a blast. And we're going to laugh about the time you stole my points. That's going to have to be okay. You're not as in much control as you feel like you are at times. The people around you kind of control what you do in a way. So if you're trying to put 50 down, 50 hit points to kill this guy who's 300, and the guy before you played 250, you got the kill. If he paid 100, you put 50, you didn't get the kill. So even though you're just putting 50 down and that's your decision, you have control over that, you don't really have a lot of control over when the monster will be killed. Yet, that's the game. That has to be appealing to you. That you're going to get screwed sometimes and things aren't going to work out. It's not a Euro where you have control over everything. Somebody might block you, but you're in control of where you can go. It's not going to be that type of game. So you can be out of it and still play. Somebody can get really far ahead if they get a couple kills, and sure, you guys can try to defeat them. If they get the card that takes credit for another kill, so be it. You're toast. So you can be out of it and still be playing. The rules are a little shaky. I'll get into the rules a bit more in the rules section, but the rules were pretty shaky. I wasn't a big fan of them. and this is the updated rule set, which is supposedly better. I can't imagine the first set. But so much of the game is going to be in the cards and how you play them that most people are going to be able to like pick up. Now we had some questions about cards as we went through, and it's a party game. Deal with it. The last little part is very little art in the game. So there was a lot of art on the monsters, but the cards you're playing, there really wasn't any art, which actually probably ends up being a good thing, because you see what the power is or hit points you're going to be hitting people with, and it all seems to be pretty clear. But just there's a lack of art in the game, and that's going to detract for some people. Overall, I like it as a party game. I wouldn't keep it as a game. It's far too luck and random for me. But as a party game, I think it works because you don't have to be good at the game to win. And I think in a party atmosphere, now the game goes a little bit too long. You might want to play with less monsters or something, or if somebody's winning, to say, screw it, we're just quitting, we had a good time. So it might be a little bit long, 1.5 hours what the box says. That's a little long for this type of game. I like to keep it to about 45 minutes, but you keep the pace going, it'll speed up. So overall, I'm going to keep it, but I'm going to keep it as a party game. I don't know if I'm going to add a lot of expansions to this. Maybe I'll buy 1 or 2 here and there just to kind of add some spice to it. So it won't be a game I come back to very often, and it's borderline to me. Here are the components for Cutthroat Caverns. It's a little bit bigger than a portable box, but it's a fairly small box, and it has some attractive artwork on the front of it, and it's not a bad box. It's held up pretty well. When you open it up, I kind of got everything just kind of smashed in here. You have some black and white rules, if you like that sort of thing. The rules are okay. There's a lot of information. It would have been nice if it was on better paper and in color. I kind of have everything bagged up here. I will take you through everything in just a moment. You have a number of initiative cards, which will just have a number on it. You have 1 through 6 for the number of players, and they will tell you when it is your turn to activate a card. Now this deck of cards, the Cutthroat Cavern cards, are going to be the majority of what you're going to play with during the game. These are nice cards. They shuffle very well. Now, some nice things about the card is that you can see the powers listed on the side of it. So most of these cards, this is a tactical card, you just kind of do what it says. This is a miss card. So the attack cards a lot of times are going to have the attack value at the top and then some variables of it that might happen. So if you had the character Veronica Blade, this card would do 60 instead of 30. Or if it did half the damage, it would do 15. And this is a really cool thing that these cards do. This is a big appeal to these cards. Cancel any action card. This one's a not on my watch. So you're going to have a lot of take that in this game. This one's a poke with a stick. You only do 0 with this one. Well, why would you want to do that? Well, I'll explain that later. A critical hit, but if it was cut in half, it'd be 50. Or if it was doubled, it'd be 200. So it's a really cool way to track it on these. So these are the main cards. Not all, I mean, they do a whole bunch of different stuff, but they pretty much, once you read a couple of them, it makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of attack cards. Plan B, play after any initiative draw and any initiative-based creature attacks. Swap any 2 initiative cards before the first attack card is revealed this round. So that can be pretty cool. So there's just a bunch of stuff you can do in here to screw people over and attack the monsters. And there's a lot of variety in here, even though there's a lot of attack cards. But there's a lot to do in this game that can kind of keep you interested. I think he called you ugly too, so there's some humor in it. 5. Point to a player. If the creature you strike attacks this round, it will select the named player as the first of its targets, replacing the player that otherwise had been targeted first. So you do 5 damage, but you also get to pick who gets attacked this round, so that's pretty funny. So these cards are really nice. You also get these gems, which are really nice. They're used as trackers. And I do have a bunch of components and tiles that kind of come in the game. And these are all your classic wooden components that kind of keep track of some tokens. Very nice, very good quality. These are a little bit generic, but they work good because you can see through them when they're on the character sheet. Here are the heroes that you'll have in the game. You're going to have Talon. You're going to have Nyx. We got Vesta the Red, and they have like a little bit more of a picture on the back that you'll never use. Nephedra, which is the Egyptian it looks like, and Orn Hammerfist, who is the dwarf. They all pretty much work the same. It's just a matter of what you want to look at. You're going to have the tracker of the health at the bottom around it, but nobody in this version has any special powers. It's just what you want to look at. Lastly, what you have here is you are going to have the monsters that you're going to fight. Now, I may have some of these mixed up with one of the expansions in here, but I'll kind of show you what one of them looks like. So here is the Lurker. The Lurker strikes a player who hit and damaged it for the least amount of damage in the round. So if you're going to fight him, you want to make sure you're doing damage to him so you're not getting hit by him. There's more than one player tied for the least damage. Determine the target random. So based on the number of players, each guy's going to have a hit point. So let's say you're playing with 4. He's going to have 160 hit points. Attacks a player who damaged it for at least 15 points. That's how he does it. So but he strikes the player who damaged the least amount of damage in that round, but damaged at least 15 points. So each one's going to work a little bit differently. I'll show you another one. A Battle Troll. The first player damaged Battle Troll's attack for 20 points. The last player's damaged Battle Troll's attack for 10 points. If no one damages, all players hit for 50 or for 5. Once again, for 4, he's 190 hit points. For 5, 220. Attacks the first 2 and last 2 with 5 or 6 players. So each one will use a little bit differently. You'll play with a number of them each game. There's plenty in the box to shuffle up. These work out pretty well. They're kind of generic on the back, so you can mix them up pretty well. And that's the components for Cutthroat Caverns. I like the components. It does the job pretty well. But the rules are just a black and white sheet. It is a book. I found the rules a little hard to follow. I found there's a lot of questions I have when I'm playing, but that's because most of the game is going to be about the cards. They do a fairly good job of trying to explain everything before they get into the flow of the game. So you have 4 or 5 pages before you even get into how to play the game, and you go through it. I did have some questions. I think one question I had was, if you kill the monster, does it still attack you guys on the same turn? I wasn't really sure about that. And the rulebook, as far as I could tell, didn't really go into it, because when I can see, he attacks before you award the encounter at the end of it. So I don't know. I didn't know. So we played an encounter, but at the end of the game it didn't feel right. So I'm thinking if you kill it, it doesn't attack you. But I couldn't find that in the rules. And if you can, then you're a better man or woman than me. But I couldn't, and so be it. That was one of the big things I had with the rule book. But it's okay. It's just shaky. Shaky is how I would claim it to be. Explaining this game is fairly easy, okay? So you're going to start out with 100 hit points. If you get to 0, you die and you're out of the game. Yes, there's player elimination. Otherwise, you're going to be going through a number of these bad guys that will be tracked. And once you kill the number, once everybody kills them, you will determine the winner of who has the most victory points. So how does that work? Well, you get victory points for killing this person. In this case, 4 victory points. And as the game progresses in further rounds, that may be doubled or tripled. Now, what's interesting is players will be playing cards to fight these guys. Only the person who strikes the death blow will get the point. And what you'll do is you'll have a number of cards in your hand, and you will play it. So let's take out the Battle Troll for a second. With him, with 4 players, it's 190 hit points to defeat him. Well, if I played this card, it's a critical hit, it would do 100 points of damage. Play on another player, before they reveal their set attack card, discard it. They may not attack this turn. So you might want to screw somebody else over. Okay, you can't attack this turn. Now this one does 10, but if you are Solder, it does 20, another critical hit. Slip behind. Tactical maneuver, set as a standard attack. When revealed, keep this card next to your character sheet and in return, multiply the attack. So I can have this down in front of me from the previous turn. And then when I play this 100 critical hit in a 4-player game, I would kill that Battle Troll. So the main game is just playing these cards. You're screwing with your neighbors. You're trying to hit this guy. You don't always want to damage him. You want to be the guy that does the death blow. That's how you get the point. That's Cutthroat Caverns right there. I explained it in a minute and a half. I probably could have done it quicker. Here, let me try. You're going to play these cards that will do attacks and screw your opponents over. You just do whatever it says, getting damage upon whatever person you're fighting or beast that you're fighting. Whoever strikes a death blow scores the victory points. That's Cutthroat Caverns. Very, very fun game. Who should buy this game? Now, anybody who's a gamer, has a gamer group that wants a party game, wants something to end, a night of descent, we're going to fool around for a while. and just defeat monsters and laugh and make some memories and have a good time. This is it. This might be something you would play while you're waiting on another game to finish up, so everybody can get together. But this is one of my favorite party games, which isn't saying a lot. I'll be honest. If you watch any of my reviews, you know it's not saying a lot. But I think there's something here if you like this sort of thing. Now, if you're not into luck and maybe it's a little bit better than Munchkin. It's a gamer's party game. It's a gamer's Munchkin to me. And you may or may not enjoy that. It's not a go-to game. It's not something I highly recommend, although it has tons of expansions, so people must be buying this out the kazoo. And here I have it because of that. Because some people recommended it, I got it, played it, and had a good time. So it's something I would pull out with the right gaming set. I'm going to recommend it to you, but I'm not going to recommend you to try it to make sure it's going to fit your needs first. So that's Cutthroat Caverns. I'm going to keep it.